The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at theeppodcast.com.
And welcome down to the EP Podcast. My name is Chris Lanuti. Belly on up to my 9-foot homemade oak bar in my basement. Pour yourself a cold one, a soda pop, a milk, maybe something stronger, because it is the weekend, and it is now time for your EP Podcast Weekend Update. On this program today, Mayor James Sexton. One of the things we're going to ask him about are comments made on this program Monday. You can still get them on demand when mayoral candidate Shawn Good came on this show and said some things that did not sit well with some people. We'll tell you about it. We'll ask the mayor for his response. We also have your weekend weather, things going on in and around the EP. Lots of fun stuff for you. And it's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. First National Bank of Evergreen Park knows when you're working towards a financial goal, every little bit counts. That's why when you open a total access checking account, you get free ATMs nationwide and a $300 bonus. So let me get this straight. I want to explain it to you. $300, you're getting it for opening up an account. And they're paying the fees for all the ATMs back to you, even if another bank or ATM charges you those fees. And you get great mobile and online banking tools to boot. You will have easy access to your money. Open an account online at bankevergreenpark.com/total access. $100 required to open, requirements to qualify, must use link to apply, member FDIC. The day this show comes out, sunny. 48 is the high. 43 is the high on Saturday. 50 the high on Sunday. And on Monday, we're hitting the 60s, and we're staying there for at least 2 to 3 days until rain hits us midweek and lowers the temperature a bit. But I don't see any high temperature that doesn't have a 4, a 5, or a 6 at the beginning of it for the next couple of weeks. Friday, the day this episode drops, free COVID-19 testing, as has been the habit here in Evergreen Park. Very lucky to have it every Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Yukich Field, 89th and Kedzie, northwest corner, drive-through, mouth swab. They're not sticking it up your nose. Results in 3 to 4 days. Testing sponsored by Cook County Commissioners Stanley Moore, John Daly, and our guest today, Mayor James Sexton. There is now a vaccine registration available at the United Center. And guess what? EP residents, you can get in on this. Seniors 65 and over right now can make an appointment for a COVID vaccine event soon to be held at the United Center by calling 312-746-4835. That's 312-746-4835. 100,000 appointment slots are available on a first-come, first-served basis for those appointments. So make an appointment now. If you want quicker notification about vaccines, there is an e-newsletter that goes out. The Village puts it out with the up-to-date information you may need. EPINF@hotmail.com. That's EPinfo without the O at hotmail.com. The Youth Department is offering their second open house in 2 weeks, this Tuesday, March 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. This one is for high school students and their families. You are invited to stop in and visit the Youth Room. If you want more information about the Youth Room at the Community Center at 3450 West 97th Street, or any information about this event, 708-229-3377. And Evergreen Park Girls Softball registration going on right now. Girls ages 4 to 14. The player draft is happening this coming Thursday. It's about a week away on March 11th. So sign up before then to be guaranteed a spot on a team. My daughter played for that league for a long time. We have some fond memories and a championship trophy that sits right here on the bar while we're doing the podcast. That is a good time and a good experience for your daughters. Register at epgirlssoftball.com. Mayor Sexton on this program in 60 seconds. The EP Podcast, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at the eppodcast.com. You've heard us talk about Cool Cloud's Vapor Shop, local Evergreen Park business that helps people stop smoking. In fact, they've been around right here in Evergreen Park since 2014, and they are open and ready now to help smokers get off of cigarettes with a $30 starter kit. A wide range of devices are available. Try a different flavor or a nicotine strength. And right now they're offering curbside pickup, delivery, and shipping options. Cool Clouds also has a growing selection of CBD products and recreational cannabis accessories. First-time customers, mention the EP Podcast for 20% off your first purchase when you sign up for the rewards program. With gift certificates available, get one now for the smoker you want to get off cigarettes. Cool Clouds Vapor Shop, 3837 West 95th Street in Evergreen Park. Age verification is required, must be 21. Remember, quitting smoking is hard. Lucky for you, there's Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. Joining me on the phone line on a Friday, as I'm telling you right now, the sun is out. The snow is melting away. Evergreen Park as a village is coming out of not only a long winter, but hopefully very soon getting back to normalcy as more and more people get their vaccines and the numbers keep looking better and better. And as he gets to the end of his term as mayor, Mayor Sexton must be pretty happy. How are you, Mr. Mayor?
I'm beautiful, Chris. Correct. Everything seems to be going better. We are very pleased that the post office is up their game. Seems like the postal deliveries are getting back to normal. Miss Hall, the director over there at Evergreen Post Office, has always been a woman of her word. They put in a special task force last Friday here to make sure that they got the backed up mail out. Now I see a mail truck on almost every corner on a regular basis. But we're still looking to hear from our residents if you're not getting regular mail. But it appears to me at first look that things are getting better.
Yeah, I'll agree with that because I got mail on a Sunday, this past Sunday, and I saw on a lot of the Facebook pages a lot of people saying they got a bunch of mail on Sunday as if they were working on Sunday, which you don't see the post office do, catching up. I now go into other suburbs. The EP Podcast is one of many podcasts that the Broadcast Basement On Demand Radio Network does, and we kind of keep track of other things going on the South Side. This was not exclusive to Evergreen Park, but this is the first area that I'm actually seeing a good positive sign that things could get back to normal, because there are other villages, there are areas of the city. Pat Tomasula was on his own podcast. He's a Chicago personality complaining about the mail. This is happening everywhere, but in Evergreen Park Post Office, it looks like you've made some headway.
We are trying, Kelly Burke and myself, Kathy Aparo, and of course Miss Hall from the post office continues to try as best she can with the system they have to get our mail delivered. So thank you, Miss Hall.
That's awesome. All right. So another thing is I felt like the EP handled not only the snow and getting everything out of the way so people could move around here in the village, but the melt. Crews driving around and making sure that they weren't going to let things get out of control with flooding of households. And I thought that showed an awful lot because I don't think that you get that. I'm telling you, I brag all the time to my friends that are in Chicago that like I might be surrounded on three sides from Chicago. I might get some of the perks of being so close to Chicago, but everything runs a little bit smoother here, Well,
we're continuing. We order sunshine and weather as we need it. We've got a special connection, so we order a little extra sunshine when we want it to go away, if you understand. But it's melting good. We're so pleased with the people that we have. It's incredible. COVID is starting to look a little bit better. The positivity rates are down. Testing is up. I am working diligently with Cook County to get one of our local clinics to get some vaccine shots. And hopefully that will come soon. The railroad has had some problems the past couple of weeks due to weather. I believe they've corrected that at 4th and 95th and Kedzie. So a couple things are happening, and that's really where my focus is for the last couple months, is to make sure we get some of these things rectified before we move on.
Do you feel a sense of pride that you seem to have been on the right side instead of the wrong side of an awful lot of decisions that were made by other mayors in villages? The mayor of Chicago, you seem to be right in step with when it was time to, hey, let's lock it down a little bit, when it was time to, hey, let's open it up. Do you feel good about that?
Yeah, I feel good that a good majority of our people have stayed healthy, Chris. We opened up preschool back almost immediately because we understood that young children were less susceptible to that. But we had a lot of good information, and we had a lot of professionals around here giving us help as to what we could and couldn't do. So you got to kind of crawl before you walk, before you run. And that was the position we took.
Over this past week, I think on Monday's episode, one of the mayoral candidates, Shawn Good, was on the air with us and doing an interview and made a comment. I'm going to kind of take you through this. She first, as far as I was concerned, implied that there was possibly some wrongdoing on the village's part or something that was sinister when it came to the red light cameras. And then when I pressed her on it for proof and asked her what she was implying, said, well, I'm more of speculating. But still, that was a dart thrown. And I want to give you an opportunity to respond to that because I didn't get anything from her specifically, but she did say it when she was on the show.
Well, they play that game quite often, and I was really saddened by that position that she's taken in her mayoral bid. It's really irresponsible for somebody looking to hold the highest office here in Evergreen Park to use the word speculation or rumor. If you have facts, come out with them. And by the way, Chris, my attorney has asked me to ask you, we will be subpoenaing any tapes and all tapes that you have from that conversation because we believe it's very slanderous. And speculation is the same as demeaning someone's character. With that said, here's a person that comes out from under the rock every 4 years or 8 years. The last time she ran was right after I had the West Nile virus. She's never volunteered for any position in this village, not the library, not the school boards, none of the commissions here in the village. But yet they come out every 4 or 8 years and want to criticize everything that people have worked very hard to do. I've got 34 years in here being elected in Evergreen Park. So I don't believe for 1 second that the intelligent voters in Evergreen Park would have ever believed that I took a kickback or did something illegal with those red light cameras. Now, because it had happened in other suburbs doesn't mean that it happens here. I suggest that if the candidate and her campaign manager want to go out to the FBI, they're more than welcome to do that. I believe they have an office in Tinley Park. Bring your facts and figures and your speculation out to the FBI. I welcome any and all investigations.
And just to follow up to it, I want to ask your impression of this. Something that we brought up when we were talking to her that also was included in that interview that people can go back and listen to. It's on demand on all of the places you can find podcasts at the eppodcast.com. We did bring up that we had learned that she shares a property line with you. Is there any chance this is personal? Not on your part, but do you think there's, it's weird. It strikes, I think, a lot of people as weird that the person that lives next door to the mayor is running against the mayor and then says things like that.
Well, it's absolutely personal. And it goes back, as I said, to right after I had West Nile in 12, we ran in 13, and they went around telling people that I was dying. Those people I happen to know very well and been with them a couple days before at a meeting at the senior center. And they told him, hey, get off my porch. We just talked to him. He's not dying. This is just somebody that isn't qualified to be your mayor, will use negative comments and insult people. And, I think that might be a forecomer to their administration. Who are they going to bring in here when you don't try and be positive? A couple other things I heard from the the podcast that really disturbed me. And there was something that it's better to drive and use social media than drink and drive.
It was drink and use social media was somehow more harmful than drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Yes.
How dumb can that be? Anybody that would make that statement and has lost somebody to a drunken driver would know that's not very smart. By the way, the high school district is 231, not 236 here in Evergreen Park. The numbers for district high school is 231. There's just been other things that have been way off base, trying to start a park district in Evergreen Park. You wouldn't want to start a park district because it would be another taxing body. And of late, all I've seen is that people are against taxing bodies, that we don't need any more new taxing bodies because it would be another group of people to tax you. Our recreation department is run under the village budget, and it's run very lean. So another taxing body, I don't think the people of Evergreen Park want that or need that. We talked about the plaza. She didn't like the fact that I redeveloped the plaza. Might be the only one that doesn't like the idea. I think her idea 8 years ago was to put Notre Dame Law School in there. Well, I hadn't heard from Notre Dame Law School about that property, so I assume they probably weren't interested in putting a law school at 95th and Western Avenue. But those are just a whole host of things that have been brought up that probably don't make much sense to the people of Evergreen Park. I'll stand on my 34 years here and all of the friendships that I've made, with countless elections since 1987. So I'll stand on my reputation, and if anybody has anything to say about graft or unethical things, please give me a call and I can explain it.
Mayor Sexton, first of all, I want to tell you that if you guys are going forward with a subpoena, we will turn everything over to you. I understand that, and I appreciate you jumping on. When we started covering this thing, with you retiring, I did not see it taking this kind of a turn, but I'm going to tell you something right now, and I'll say it in front of everybody that's listening. You've never been nothing but a straight shooter with us. You've always shot from the hip. You've never had a prepared statement. You've never sat there and said, Chris, I won't talk about this. You've never questioned a question that I've asked you. You've always answered everything I've asked you. You've never shown up with a notebook with questions and answers prepared in it. You just take the question, answer the question, and I can go back through every podcast that you've ever done with me, and I can't find one time where you contradicted yourself. So I want to say I appreciate you coming on again.
All right, hold on before you go.
Sure.
When you're telling the truth, you don't need notes. We promised that we'd play Jeopardy this afternoon. Are you ready?
Oh, all right. I'm playing a game here. Let me turn on some game show music. And away we go. Okay.
Give us a little background. This is a very dear woman to me for many years, and she wrote me a letter when she was leaving and said, "What a wonderful boss you turned out to be. How I love working with you. I was the luckiest one. Thank you again for everything. Words can't express how much your thoughtfulness is appreciated." Now, that person will go unnamed because this was a personal card that she had sent me. But maybe next time we play trivia, somebody will have the answer to who wrote that beautiful card to me. A very, very lovely, intelligent, straightforward lady.
Wow, I feel like I already know the answer if I listened to last Monday's show.
Well, you might, but that is what she wrote me on 4/29 of 08. Listen, the people of Evergreen Park are the smartest voters that I know, Chris. They will see through this charade and do the right thing. They have for 50, 60 years that I'm aware of.
Well, Mr. Mayor, again, like I said, I appreciate you jumping on the show. And you know what? Like I said, straight shooter. I've always appreciated you jumping on. And, I think you're handling this one pretty well, considering what was said. So thank you so much for joining us.
We will continue. Chris, one last thought. if anybody's going to be writing a book, the neighborhood around Hamlin and Ridgeway Avenue have probably got volumes to write.
Okay, that's the mayor of Evergreen Park right there. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Have a good one, Chris. Thank you.
Wow. Mayor James Sexton right there. I don't think there's anything I can add to that. I don't think there's anything for me to say. I think he said everything he wanted to say. And you know who we have on Monday? The other mayoral candidate, Kelly Burke. She's going to be joining us along with John Brand from Open Outcry and also the head football coach of Evergreen Park High School's varsity football team. Monday. You can catch it then. You can catch it any day you want to. You can go back and listen to any show we've done. They're all there for the record. Hear it for yourself. Everywhere podcasts can be found and always at the eppodcast.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Another show is wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's going to be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nude is basement. And the nude is basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudie's Basement. Broadcast Basement. The Nudie's Basement. The Broad Basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found and always at the eppodcast.com.